And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Automation the Car Company Tycoon game. All right. So today, we're working on a new engine. This is actually going to be a test engine. And we're going to call this the X1. Let's just call it the X3L1. Alright, so what we're going to do today is we're going to make ourselves a V6 engine. We're going to do this in 2015. We're going to use ALSI. Alright. And let's just do a standard aluminum. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this as a 3-liter engine. Well, 3008-liter engine. And we're going to do DOHC 4 with an aluminum head. And let's not do any VVL on it. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 engines. Alright. Or it apparently wiped. Okay, so let's call it the X3L1. Alright. So what we're going to do here is we're going to test some things. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to do it this way. I-beam steel. We're going to do lightweight forged. We're going to leave all this the same. Naturally aspirated. Injection. Multi-point. Per cylinder. Standard. We'll go with a regular. And tubular. Alright. So what we're experimenting with here is we're going to see different types of engine designs. Alright. So let's say this is a... Yeah, let's do 3-way, straight through. Let's make sure it runs. Okay. So that's our torque curve here. Alright, we're looking at... And this is engine variant 1. Okay. So we're looking at this here. Alright, so it's about a 270, 179 horsepower. We probably have plenty of... Yeah, we have plenty of stuff left over. Okay. So what I kind of want to see here is the torque curves versus the RPM curve, alright? Now, let's go up with the RPM limit a little bit. There we go. Oh, we're not losing reliability yet. Okay. We'll boost the exhaust diameter a little bit. There we go. So that's our torque curve, alright? So we're making about 240 at 2,000, okay? That's pretty decent, 240 at 2,000. Alright. Now, what I want to see here, okay, is we're going to keep this engine the same, alright? We're going to keep it at 3.08, but we're going to go with a shorter stroke. And a bigger bore to compensate. Close enough, alright. Now what does that do? So we're up to 265. Okay, so the larger bore is giving me more torque, right? So see, we're at 265 at 3,500 RPM. Which I think, if we... So 265 at 300 RPM. 3,500 RPM. Probably not enough difference yet. Alright, so let's bring this back down. Oops. Let's bring this back down. Alright, won't display yet. So, let's take another look. We're at 265 at 3,500 RPMs. Alright. There. Alright, and we start just a bit above 175. Whereas... if I... let's see. If I reduce this... Come on. Do that. It barely changes it at all. So, that's interesting. That's the same torque curve, isn't it? Right? We're still seeing the same torque curve there? At idle, it's just above 175. All right. Let's flip that back around. Interesting. So it appears that my displacement is more an issue than my... Okay. Alright, that makes some sense. But I'm producing my RPM, my max peak on my horsepower is high. So it's 196 at 66. Alright, so let's flip that around again. $196 at 66. We're a little... Okay, so we're getting more horsepower at slightly higher speeds. Okay, that's interesting there. Okay. So my torque curve appears to be staying the same. So the torque curve, I think, is probably more dependent on my literage. Okay. So if we can fit it, our best bet is always to go with a higher bore, shorter stroke engine. Right, so now if I go back to here, back all the way to here, and we go back up, what is that, 102? Oh, but I have to watch that as well, okay. So we're looking at... Okay, so if I go, let's see, a modern OHV, I'm getting some valve float. But valve float's more a matter of my maximum RPM. What's the advantage of a modern OHV? RPM. Oh, emissions issues, okay. So if we go with a 4 VVL, and then we go forward, and then we go with a... Whoa, okay. Oh, see, this is the VVL kick again. Okay, this is what's happening. So it smooths it a lot. All right. That makes sense. And then if we go through to here... Better high-end performance. Okay, so if I raise... my VVL profile here... And that means we're going to need to increase our maximum RPMs on this thing, too. And also boost up apparently my exhaust diameter needs to go up a little bit. We go with dual exhausts. And we give it bypass valves. Okay. So then, if we come back to here... And then we give it a little bit more of that. So, this is interesting. Look at this. Uh-huh. So this gives us, you can see what's happening. Okay, so what the VVL does... Alright, let's take a look at this. Actually, it isn't much more to give it a VVT on all cams, is it? Because that gives us a bit more power. So see, with none, I get 277, and that. With VVT all cam... There we go. Bit of a nicer torque curve there. And the high VVL profile is giving me... So basically what VVL VVT does is VVL, variable valve lifting, and variable valve timing, what they do is they enhance your high-speed performance. This is also known as VTEC, all right? For those of you who drive a Honda, this is known as VTEC, all right? VTEC means, or VVL or VVT, or a combination of the two, means that you're changing the timing of when your valves open as the engine speeds up, okay? And what that means is you get more efficiency. So what you can do is I can have my cam profile low to start out with, which gives me high torque. And you can see lower cam profile, better economy, and low end performance. Nice, right? Right. So that's how I can have a 210 torque starting. It comes up. As it starts to become less efficient on that timing setting, you can see the torque levels off there. Well, then my VVL kicks in, which switches to a very high performance setting. All right? So you can see better high-end performance, reduced valve float, and lower octane. So this kicks on up here, which is how I can get 278 horsepower at 7,600 RPM. Now, I can actually probably go even a little bit higher on my RPM limits here. No, it's not going to really help much. Okay. So we'll give it a bit of overdrive there, but that's fine. So you can see I'm producing a nice, straight, very linear power graph here. All right? So my horsepower, my RPMs are very nice and linear. Okay? Now, I'm using a multi-point EFI. I could use a direct injection system, but I'm thinking multi-point for this engine design's fine. I mean, if I go to a direct injection, I get some better reliability and my economy is better, but I don't really think it's worth it. Not for the extra weight on this design. If I was hitting issues with my fuel injectors, I'd absolutely take a look at that and take a look at switching over. But honestly, I don't think it's really necessary. I could also change my ignition timing a little bit. Right now, we're actually at a really good economy. So I think what I'm going to do... Oh, I see. I could go direct injection and get a lot better... Well, you know what? This is an experimental engine. We'll just go direct injection. How about that? Our weight's higher, but look at how much more extra fuel octane we just got ourselves there. So I'm also going to go up to a performance air intake there. So this gives me 281 there. That's nice to see. And what I can do is I can up my emission timing as well. And with that boost, what I can also do is I can bring my compression up. So right now, as you can see, we're not using up a lot of octane at all. We're using very little. Our octane's just at 91, and we're already cranking out about 290 horsepower of this engine. We're not even really stressing any of these components either. I could go with straight up forged. Yeah, I don't think that this can survive. No, it won't survive low friction cast. Yeah, we need to stay with the lightweight forged. This is staying fine, though. I mean, this is absolutely fine here. The I-beam steel and forged steel. I mean, I wonder if we could even go back to a cast iron on the crankshaft. Well, yeah, it's heavier. Alright, we'll just go with the forged steel. Honestly, that's better. I mean, yeah, our production units are a bit higher, but it drops the weights pretty significantly. Okay, so this makes a lot of sense to me then. Alright, so we want to go with a big bore engine. Alright, it's better to go with a big bore and a short stroke than it is to go with a long stroke. Okay, now that we know that, that's great to see. Alright, now let's just see, for the sake of things, how this thing runs. Nice. The other thing I want to do is I do want to give it a bit more on its RPM limit. Alright, we're starting to get valve float at the top end there. But that at least gives you some overdrive up above where your maximum RPMs sit. So that's going to make people at least a little bit happier. I do want to rename this, though, because this is going to be the 6VX, or X6V3L1. Engine variant 1. We'll just call this the Alpha. Okay? Now, I also want to see here. Let's actually close out of this for now. let's go to sandbox and let's do new car. And because I just want to have a model here. Let's go last 10. I want coupe body. No, hatchback body maybe. Well, that's a Honda Civic. Yep, that's a Honda Civic. Okay. All right, and let's just breeze through this. We'll do ladder chassis. AHS steel. We'll do a transverse with a McPherson front. Let's see, hold on. Compactness low, compactness high. And then we'll do a multi-link rear. And then we'll do polymer body style. That's fine. That's fine. We'll put all-wheel drive in. I like my all-wheel drive cars. Engine design. Okay, we're going to go with an i4 ALSI. Let's see if we can get ourselves a 3-liter out of this. Looks like we're going to get a 2.2. 2.2 4-cylinder engine. Okay. We'll go with a DOHC, of course. 4 per. We'll go with another ALSI, and we'll go with VVL. Okay. Variable valve lift. Forged steel, I-beam steel, lightweight forged. All right. So this is going to be the... let's call it the 4X1, or the 4X 2.2. So it's a 4-cylinder experimental 2.2-liter engine. Okay. And this is going to be the 2.2... The 2.2 NA. Okay. VVT on all cams. VVL profile, let's lift that a little bit. We'll see later. This is naturally aspirated. Injection, direct injection. Throttle per cylinder, right? With a performance air intake. And we're going to try and code this for regular gas. Actually, let's do this for premium. This is going to be a sports car-ish engine, okay? So I have a feeling that our RPM limit's going to probably need to be nice and high. Let's leave all that as stock. Let's go with a long tubular, because we need this to be mass-produced. We'll give it bypass valves, a high-flow 3-way, straight through to straight through. Now let's see how this thing runs. And yes, I know, I like my 4-cylinder zippy engines. Well, it hasn't blown up yet, so that's good. Alright, let's come back here. Okay, so over here. Yeah, okay, we need to open up the exhaust a little bit. And let's take a look back here. What are we looking at here? Alright, so we have plenty to play with now. So we'll give it some better timing. That looks pretty decent there. Let's come over to here, back to here. Alright, cam profile. We're going to reduce this down quite a bit. Because we want it to be a nice heavy start on that engine. And we're going to lift up our VBL timing on the front end. Ooh. That looks good right there. Bit more exhaust diameter again. Yeah, well, you know. Now, what's our octane limit? 9.5? Okay, so because we're basically using this sort of an engine, we just need to increase the compression. This is going to be a silly high compression engine. There's really no way around that, to be honest with you. So let's look back at our... We could decrease this even more. because they don't want to lose torque anywhere. And that little bump right there worries me a little bit. There, that's a bit smoother. So you have a steady torque, and then it comes up to a 230. So in no ways is it going to be an incredibly... Wow. So we're looking at a red line about 8,100 RPM, huh? That's pretty incredible there, actually. That's a pretty decent RPM that we're looking at. And then we have a bit more octane to play with, so we can just crank that compression up. Nope. Boom. There we go. So it's actually a pretty efficient engine. All things considered, it's a very efficient little engine there. I mean, it's expensive, but it's efficient. We'll call it the Valkyrie Alpha, by the way. All right. We'll go to a sequential double clutch. 8 ratios. Haha. Because why not? Top speed is going to be 166 according to the stats. There you go, 166. And we'll leave that the same. You know what? This is experimental. We're going to go with an electric low-slip differential. Gives us high sportiness. We'll leave the power front distribution the same across the whole thing. We'll do sports compound roads. Carbon fiber rims. How about we just go with magnesium? And then, okay, this is where we get interesting. We'll go with vented singles across both. We'll go fully clad for now. 4-seater, a sport inter, and we'll go standard, power steer ABS traction, and advanced 10s. And we'll go with an active sport. All right. So what that's going to do is... go adaptive, passive. So what the active sport does is it actually is going to change the engine, the drivability of the vehicle, as it maneuvers. All right, so it's a bit... Sport preset. Details. Okay, sportiness, what are we losing on? If they like the engine, they don't like the driver assist. Understeer, oversteer, there's an issue. Chassis stiffness, there's an issue. Brake fade, there's an issue. There's always an issue with brake fade. So let's just fix that brake fade. Wow, okay, front brakes. Twin piston? Well, actually, so here's the issue. So let's actually go with carbon ceramics on the front. That doesn't really do much, does it? Actually, carbon ceramics, well, they do drop that quite a bit. Let's see if we could just get away with just increasing our pad sizes here. We're gaining weight is the issue. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then... Alright, so my weight is 1513. That's barely any savings. Alright, that's not helping anymore. Let's decrease this a little bit. Oh, wow, okay. There we go there. And my rears are big enough at this point. There we go. Okay. Now what are we losing on? Up here, right. So if we... Well, you know what? If they're having this much of an understeer-oversteer issue, let's just do this back here then. Tires. You know, this is actually the point where we go back to the model. And widen my wheelbase a bit. Cut it back to trim and see what we did there. Okay, and we can trim this out a little bit. Okay, so we're looking at that. All right, so now let's come back to here. Let's fix our camber a little bit, shall we? Nope, okay. That appears to be as good as we're going to get there. All right, so now let's look back over to here. What else are we losing out on? We're still losing a bit understeer, oversteer. That's fine. Chassis stiffness we're losing a little bit. Downforce, let's look at what we can do to that. Yeah, okay. All right, you know what? We're going to turn that all the way off. Let's look at this. Hold on. Model. I completely forgot some components, too. Let's see. Vents. Grills. Let's go with the I'm not a Honda, I swear grill. Right on the nose. And then let's look at... Let's go back to trimming the vehicle. We only need 117. Let's boost that up. Get a little bit more cooling than is needed. And then let's look back at model. This is actually my preferred way of designing these things, by the way. Vents. We'll go with this style. And then for the rears, we'll go with this style. That meshes quite nicely, actually. Okay. Looking back over at trim. All right, and then let's go back to to model, because we want to put a wing on this thing. I know I'm over time, guys, but we'll be finishing up this shortly. Actually, you know what? Why don't I... Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we come back in a few minutes in the next episode and finish this up? Yeah, I think that's probably our better idea, actually. So we'll come back next episode, I think, and finish this thing up. Just do the trim in the outside and see about that. Well, you know what? We'll just do a long episode with this, you know. That's probably our best bet. Yeah, why can't I actually put these on the darn cart? Yeah, why can't I... Maybe they're just not allowed this body style? I don't know. We have to go back to model. Oh, it didn't save any of my changes. That would be why. Oh, no, I have to... Okay, I have to go forward. Nope. This is the model. There we go. Hey, oh, okay, that did a change. Okay. You know, I have a wing on the front. Well, the rear is going to stick really nicely. Probably the amount of drag I'm experiencing here. Yeah, we're going from 150 miles an hour. There we go. Interesting. We don't need quite that much rear downforce there, buddy. There we go. So that's going to keep it stuck, at least. Alright, that's good. Alright, anyways, guys, this has been Mr. Casaria. Now, thank you for watching. This has been an experimental car. We'll go into the future to do my one that has a bit better information to it. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, give me a like, comment, subscription. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Hopefully, next episode we can do a full car that's a little bit less slapdash. Anyways, guys, see you next time.